Happy Friday, everyone. It is Weather for Weather Geeks time, getting set to head into the weekend. We'll keep this video a little bit shorter this evening as we have a pretty quiet weekend ahead of us, but as usual, even in quieter weather, I've got some cool things to talk about this evening. We're going to have our second overnight low temperature in the single digits this winter. That's not many. We average, well, many more than this. Right now we're tied in first place on the list of fewest low temperatures in the single digits during meteorological winter, December, January, February. Again, we'll make it number 2, tying 2001-2002, in the very warm El Nino winter of 1982-83. I kind of suspect we're going to finish with 2. You know, with the pattern warming up again later on in the month, I don't see a lot of opportunities for single-digit cold temperatures. And I've mentioned this a few times, you know, it's been a warm winter overall, but it's especially been warm at night compared to the average. The average lows have been much warmer compared to average than the average highs. We've seen this during many of our recent seasons, including in the summer, where average low temperatures, or I should say the actual low temperatures, are way above the average, even more so than the daytime highs. There's probably several reasons you can point to for this in the summer. An increase in water vapor in the atmosphere with a warming climate probably has a lot to do with it. In the winter time, it's a little bit harder to trace the warm nights directly to the change in climate. But one of these quieter evenings, we'll get into a little bit more of the meteorology behind the warmer nights during the cold weather season. One thing for sure, even though it was a cold day today, we had some sunshine, especially in our southern viewing area. And at this time of the year, we're getting into the time of the year where it starts to make a difference if the sun is out. The sun angle a month ago was at 28 degrees. In other words, the sun gets up to about 28 degrees above the horizon before it starts descending again in the afternoon. Well, now that we're into mid-February, the sun angle is up to 36 degrees, which is roughly on par with the sun angle during the latter portions of October. And of course, this process will continue later in the spring. A month from now, 6 weeks from now, April 1st, it's up to 54 degrees, and our sun angle at this latitude peaks on the first day of summer at 72 degrees above the horizon. So the seasons gradually are changing, and it was a frigid but beautiful sunset this evening. Captured this sunset on our Boardman camera. The sky is clear, and with some snow on the ground, the wind going calm, Arctic high pressure building in, a good recipe for cold weather overnight tonight. All right, down in the deep south, where it has been an even bigger dud of a winter than we've had around here, spring is kicking in early, and in some places on the order of 2 or 3 weeks early as far as the leaf out goes. And what we mean by that is things budding up, sprouting, blooming. In a place like Charlotte, Raleigh, Augusta, Atlanta, Birmingham, all these places are seeing things greening up a couple or even a few weeks ahead of schedule. Hopefully they don't see a deep freeze down there for the rest of the winter, because that would be bad news for a lot of the stuff that is blooming very early. I just did an interview with Derek Steyer, and this will air on a future edition of 21 News, about the flu index. And one of the common myths that we hear a lot about is that we need some cold nights, some really cold weather to kill off all these germs and the flu virus and that sort of thing. And we're doing a story that kind of debunks that overall idea. Cold weather does not really kill these things. In fact, they thrive in cold weather. One of the chief reasons is that really cold air is really dry air. And really dry air is something that common viruses, including the common cold and the flu, can thrive on. It can spread easily. Your mucus and your nose hairs, when you're breathing in a lot of dry air, it's not as effective in expelling some of those viruses as when we have plenty of moisture in the air. So that's always why a humidifier is a good idea at this time of year. And as you can see, every state in the lower 48, with the exception of Oregon, is reporting widespread flu here in mid-February. Got to wash those hands a lot at this time of the year. All right, our weather story tonight is the cold. It's, in most places, it's probably going to be the coldest night of the entire winter, and probably the coldest night we'll see until next winter. As of 6:50, already seeing some lower teens. We're going to see some single digits within a couple of hours, especially over into Mercer County. It's down to 7 in Green Bay, 13 in Chicago, and this Arctic high slipping across tonight will provide quite the cold air mass. Now, this is, of course, nothing unusual for mid-February, and it's nowhere near a record or anything like that, but considering how balmy overall our winter has been, This is noteworthy because, again, we just haven't seen much of this kind of a thing. In fact, our coldest temperature so far this winter at the Youngstown Warren Airport is 7 degrees back on January the 20th, the only morning that we had with single-digit temperatures. We're going to see plenty of sunshine tomorrow morning, frigid start to the weekend, but actually the recovery is going to be pretty fast tomorrow. We'll be around freezing already by noon, heading for the mid-30s in most spots in the afternoon with maybe some high clouds filtering in for the afternoon. A dying front might produce a flurry in the wee hours of Sunday morning, no big deal. Sunday a little bit cloudier than Saturday, but there'll be some sunshine as well, and temperatures will continue to rebound. We'll get into the upper 30s, lower 40s, and that process will continue on Monday. I have 43 in our Monday forecast. Clouds will increase late, and this developing system will spread some rain our way, it looks like, Monday night and heading into the morning and midday hours on Tuesday. Snowfall over the next week to 10 days, pretty paltry. The European basically has nothing. The GFS has less than an inch. Not sure what the GFS ensemble is showing here. I don't know what this thing's doing. Sometimes it has a weird run at this time of the day. Sometimes we call this the happy hour run of the models. And sometimes that I've noticed that run of the GFS ensemble goes nuts with weird outputs. But bottom line, probably very little, if any, accumulating snow over the next week to 10 days. And the reason for that is we're going to warm up early in the week. This looks colder but dry towards the end of next week. In fact, a very benign, quiet-looking pattern towards the end of next week across the entire lower 48 states with not a winter storm in sight. And then beyond that, I think our next significant warm-up is going to be more significant than this one. And it starts next weekend. And I could see, whereas we head towards the 24th, 25th, 26th of February, somewhere in that zone, I could see where we have some high temperatures in the 50s, perhaps even flirting with 60 if some of the current modeling is on to the right idea. Thanks for hanging with me tonight on Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Monday, and enjoy your weekend, everyone.